What up, what up, what up, sports fans all over
Let's do
the
it.
world? It's your boy Mac the Giants fan riding with his horsemen once again. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go, baby.
Woo! Damn, Mac, you always,
Let's get it.
always kick in the door. You always kick in the door for me, Mac. Man, woo!
So how y'all fellas feeling today on this nice Sunday afternoon, man?
Can't complain. Did a long day, short day at work, and I have 2 days off, so I'm down to just do this podcast and get it popping with you guys. What's up, Namir? What's up, Logan? What's up, G Nation? What's up, Super Taj? Thank you guys so much for joining in. And
Yeah,
I'm ready to
Super
get this
Taj,
on.
follow me on Twitter. Nice.
Let's get it. I didn't even know you
Thanks
had
to
it.
everybody up in the chat.
Listen,
I,
man.
I tagged them in the post earlier, so you can get it off of there.
What's going on, everybody?
Get at you.
Yeah, man. I have social media. I just seldomly use it. But now that people seem to want to have an interest in what I have to say, I might have to throw stuff on there every once in a while. So
I like it.
Well, all right, all right. If y'all ready, man, we're gonna get this show started, man. We're gonna
Billy
start it
B.
from the top, man, with the you know how we start the show each and every Sunday with a little WWE talk. Man, this week we had a big breaking story, man, coming in from the WWE this week on Monday Night Raw, man. Naomi and Sasha Banks, the WWE Women Tag Team Champions, former WWE Women Tag Team Champions. We'll get to that in 1 minute. But they were supposed to be in the main event on Monday Night Raw, which was a singles match, a six-man challenge, a six-pack challenge match to determine the number one contender for Bianca Belair in the WWE Raw Women's Championship.
What up,
Well,
Slay?
Sasha and Naomi apparently had some issues backstage with the story and everything, so they didn't like what was going on, and they just sat their belts down on John Laurinaitis' desk and walked out, left the arena, left Monday Night Raw, did not participate in the match, and have not returned since, and now have since been suspended indefinitely and stripped of their titles. So, Jeff, I'll let you take this one away, man, because I know you got a lot to say on this one, brother.
AK's in the house. What's up, AK? Let's get it.
Or, okay, Adam, take it away.
Yes,
What's going on, Adam?
I am back. Sorry, I ran to check on my son. But me, we're still talking about Naomi and Sasha, right? It's interesting.
Where can I
Because-
start with this one?
Let me. Jeff, what the hell's going on, man?
Yeah, what's happening? I mean, okay, it doesn't. One of y'all go. It doesn't matter which one.
Look.
Sasha,
I'm interested to see what you said about that, Matt. That little nugget you said, that former tag team champions, because when I was talking to Jeff earlier, it didn't seem like they were former. It
You hear
still
me
seemed like
still?
they were. Yes, man. I'm trying to chat. We good? All right, good. What I'm saying was, Sasha Banks and Naomi leaving is bigger than I thought, because when you said that little nugget right there, that means it might be real. Because I'm thinking at first maybe it's work, maybe it's not work. I have no idea. I don't know what to do. They didn't put the titles up for grabs yet, unless you know something I don't know. So I'm waiting to see who steps into that forefront.
Real quick, they announced on SmackDown on Friday night that there's going to be a tournament down the line to determine the new women tag team champions. So they stripped them of their
Really?
titles.
I
Absolutely.
guess I missed that SmackDown. Well, then I guess buckle up, because we don't really have that many tag teams in there. I mean, what can you do? Who are you going to push on that? Are you going to push Shotzi and some of
with
these
what
girls?
teams? You don't have any tag teams in the women's division. How are you going to have a tournament? You can't have a tournament without teams.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of things
You're gonna make
weird. Right? They'll
Toxic
pair
Attraction
somebody
come
together.
up, drop their belts in NXT. You're gonna have Kaden Carter and have Natalia and Shayna Baszler be tag. WWE has no idea. I mean, to sum up this whole situation, Sasha Banks has had a reputation before of having some sort of an attitude backstage, but at point times is very warranted in that company. And anybody that is a wrestling fan and knows WWE knows that as a fact, especially what Charlotte Flair did, I believe it was last year, when she had her own issues going on backstage. because Andrade left when he went to AEW. Ric Flair was taken out of the company. Charlotte Flair was not exactly in the prominent roles that she thinks that she should have been in. And Charlotte Flair threw out a big temper tantrum and everything that was going on too. And WWE did not do a thing because they would never, ever in their lifetime punish what they call the golden child of their company. So what ended up happening? Charlotte Flair ended up getting that championship a little bit later. And Sasha Banks and Naomi, they were supposed to have spots going into this past WrestleMania. It was rumored that Naomi was supposed to be taking on Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks was supposed to be taking on Ronda Rousey, and neither of those matches came to fruition. So instead, they had these two women tagging up and becoming the tag team champions for belts that have no relevancy at all, since, ironically, Sasha Banks and Bayley won the championship a couple of years ago, and Sasha Banks walked out after that last time because they got rid of the belts immediately to the Iconics. And Sasha Banks is like, you know what? I am done with this. And to sum up this whole situation right now, I guarantee, if AEW did not exist right now, Sasha Banks and Naomi, the WWE would not bat an eye, and they'd be like, all right, you two want to continue to be problems? You guys can go, have fun on the indie scene, go to Impact or one of these places. The fact that AEW exists right now and is an alternative for these people to get on TV and showcase themselves is the reason why that those two are quote-unquote suspended and they are not fired right now from that company. Because if this was somebody like an Aaliyah, if this was somebody like a Shotzi Blackheart, this was even somebody like a Liv Morgan or somebody that's a little bit lower on the totem pole, they would have been fired immediately. The fact of the matter is, if they know Sasha Banks has mainstream media attention, she's still one of the best female wrestlers in the world right now. And if that they just let her go, even if she was committing issues backstage, she would go right into AEW without a question. They could just let her contract run out. She could walk right into AEW, show up at All Out, same thing with Naomi, and the tides would turn immediately. So that's the fact that those two are still in this company right now. In terms of like the whole situation and the way it's going right now, how you doing, Raphael? Nobody in this situation looks good at all. Nobody right now looks good. Sasha and Naomi don't look good because they look unprofessional just walking out of the company when other people have had way worse storylines to compose and do this whole entire time, but they still do it anyway, yet Sasha and Naomi walked out when they were tag team champions. But at the same time, I can understand where they're coming from because there's a lot of people that have favoritism going their way that do way worse things than these two women have ever done, and they still get championships galore, put in prominent positions. Ronda Rousey, who can't cut a promo to save her damn life, comes right in and just gets an automatic championship match at WrestleMania, and she ends up winning it at WrestleMania Backlash, but because she has mainstream media, and that's all WWE cares about the most, is mainstream media. Hence why they're trying to get The Rock back for the WWE Championship match against Roman Reigns. But I'm like, I apologize if I'm steering off topic right now, but it all has a correlation in a way coming together. Is that WWE right now looks really bad. Not just for like the fans' perspective, from wrestlers, not even just in the WWE, but wrestlers all around in other companies for the way that they've treated these two women, the crappy booking that they put these two women in. They have no tag teams for these women to face besides a couple of tag teams that were just thrown together. So right now, I can completely understand why these two women walked out of the company, but at the same time, there are a lot of women in this company that have had far less than Sasha and Naomi have had, especially with Sasha Banks's career resume, and even Naomi's to a degree, that there's no reason why you should have had an unprofessional outlook for that. So nobody in this situation wins, and WWE has pulled Sasha Banks from their intro and Naomi from their intros, from their merchandise sales are all gone, everything in their merchandise is gone, anything revolving around Sasha Banks and Naomi, including with the WWE, is gone right now. Who really knows if this is a work, or if this is some type of elaborate work that they've just been doing behind the scenes, or if this is real legit. But the fact of the matter is, WWE could freeze their contracts if they if they think these two are going to just stay off TV and not come back, because that's what Vince McMahon would do. Because he knows if he just doesn't freeze their contracts, they could sit out for the rest of their time, walk in free agency, and show up on AEW or one other program if they feel like it. Naomi is taking off any type of WWE references for herself as well on her Twitter and Instagram and all her handles as well. So, I mean, this situation is still going fluid right now, and the fact that this is the biggest thing in wrestling right now is pretty sad. That this is the biggest thing going on in all of wrestling just shows the state of how wrestling is right nowadays. But how this thing resolves itself, who really knows? Because remember, Stone Cold Steve Austin had a similar situation when he took his ball and walked out of WWE back in 2002, 2003. WWE buried him on television and all this stuff. And then eventually, after time passed, Austin was able to, bygones be bygones, Austin came back later on, showed up on the program, and everything was fine. I think it has a lot to do with contract issues, too. I'll stop talking a little bit because I know I've been rambling on this whole time. But Naomi and Sasha Banks' contracts, which actually makes sense, their contracts are going to be up in the next couple of months, which probably has a reason why, in a way that these two are creating the fuss as they have been this whole time because they want to try to maybe get some more money and get some more leverage against WWE by doing this. And WWE knows that they can't allow these two women to go into free agency and just let them go because they're going to show up in the competition. So it's a fluid situation going forward. Nobody looks good in this in the end. And, I mean, we're all just curious where this goes in the future. But hopefully things do get smoothed over. But it's just an ugly situation that's going to get a lot worse before it ends up getting better. You guys can go ahead.
Well said.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's hard to follow that. What you got, Adam?
I mean, you touched everything. I mean, I feel like I went into the library and seen every book because you painted a picture so good. I'm just like, hey, I guess Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I mean, that's basically where I would go next.
But well, just real quick then, unless you got something, Zion, on this. Well, in case, real quick, man, this whole thing to me, whereas I feel like Sasha and Naomi could have handled it in a more professional way instead of just walking out on their job on Monday night. At the same time, it just goes to tell you what's been building up in that locker room, and they just did, and they've done what probably several other superstars have probably wanted to do, truly, because it's more of a dictatorship in WWE than probably any other organization there is out there. The superstars have less intake on their own personal creative in WWE than probably any of the other companies. So it's like you put these two together. You promise them big storylines as solo performers going into WrestleMania. You end up backing out of that on them, and then you put them together as a team. They become the women's tag team champions, and then you basically want to put that on the back burner too, and have them go back into single storylines on different shows. Whereas you'd have one of them, you were going to put Naomi, because apparently the story I read, Naomi was going to win that match on Monday night, go and have a storyline against Bianca Belair. Sasha was going to get put into a storyline with Ronda Rousey on SmackDown, and then the women's tag team titles were just going to be on their waist, not getting defended for however long until they got
we've
done.
seen that before, though, Mac. I mean, we've seen people kind of get in WWE floating it around. I feel bad that they've left, but Naomi, I admire Naomi's career. I'll say it real quick, where she came from a Funkadactyl up the ladder, won some titles. She's done solid. Sasha Banks is the real marquee of the team. If Naomi and Sasha break up, are we really going to see Naomi get that much burn anymore? I don't think so. But no. Sasha can do whatever she wants. You know what I mean? She can go to AEW, and who knows? Who knows what they'll do? They're getting saturated over there too.
Well, we can segue over from them and then go into
Toto.
The Bloodline. The Bloodline on Friday night on SmackDown became the most decorated
Mac, just one more thing. How do you going back to like that whole thing too? How do you think Doudrop and Nikki Ash feel? They were supposed to be in that 6-pack match, and they just got. I know a lot of people don't care, but how do you think those two women feel? They were supposed to be in that 6-pack match, just got dropped.
Typical for them. That's the typical. That's what saying. Listen, they get written out of a lot of shows. I'm not, if I don't see.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you think those women feel? I mean, that's kind of messed up.
Okay, here's what I say about that. I didn't understand why once Naomi and Sasha walked out, why they just made it straight up a solo match a single match between Asuka and Becky Lynch. They could have still just had a fatal 4-way and included the other two girls, included Doudrop and
Nikki
Nikki
ASH
ASH,
or Dewdrop.
who are becoming a team right now. So they're pretty much, I would think you can book them as one of the teams that's going to be in this tournament whenever it starts for the women's tag team titles. They have started to form together a bit of an alliance. So I don't understand why they didn't just go through with a fatal
It's
4-way
so
match and
bad.
still include those. But I don't. But let's move on to the bloodline right now, man, because I can't. It's hard to get into the minds
Okay.
of the WWE creative team. But they became the most decorated faction on WWE Sunday night when the Usos defeated RK Bro and won the Raw tag team titles. And they now have both tag team titles, Raw and SmackDown tag team titles. What does this mean for RK Bro going forward? What does this mean for the tag team division? Period. And how long they think they're going to keep these titles unified, or is that what the end game was anyway, and what the ultimate plan was just to unify the titles and go forward with just one tag team champion?
I like to go first here. I like to be fast. So I didn't even know that. I've been like unsubscribed to WWE for the past like month and a half. So I really don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna let you guys handle this whole WWE topic of the show. That's why I didn't comment on Sasha Banks and Naomi. I absolutely love Sasha Banks as a performer. Hopefully, wherever she ends up, I'm going to still tune in and try to watch her. That being said, about this bloodline, I still can think, just me being personally, yes, that is true that they probably are now the most decoration faction, but I could count multiple factions that is way better than the bloodline. No disrespect in the bloodline, but I'm going to defer the question to you guys because I just wanted to say, honestly, I haven't been following what's going on with the WWE side of things. So go right ahead and take it over, guys.
You guys got anything on the bloodline?
Sure. I want to touch on what Zion said real quick. They aren't the best faction I've ever seen. I mean, they don't even move the needle for me, thanks Roman Reigns, in terms of being a faction, because I've seen them already. I've seen the Uso Penitentiary. I've seen them be Roman Reigns' bitch. You know, they haven't done anything when the NWO came in, the entire crowd hated them. Okay, they threw disgusting trash and debris on stage when they formed. You know, DX came in, they melted down the Attitude Era. They did things that we've never seen before. Roman Reigns, okay, you got great teeth. All right, you hang out with your two cousins. You beat up on smaller guys. You haven't won really too many matches clean. I mean, come on. NWO, I get it, but I can't stand the bloodline anymore. And the tag team titles being unified stinks because who's going to go after them? RK Bro was a hot team. For the first time, you had a team, two guys come together. It's probably Sheamus and Cesaro. They had great chemistry, that were singles wrestlers and held up the titles. And then you lose it to them, to the Usos, so you can have this bloodline? Give me a break. I'm sorry.
What's up, NYG22? Thank you for being here.
Thanks for stopping in, man.
NYG22, my man.
What up, fellas? And
we're giving you our quick updates on wrestling. That's right.
You got any more in the bloodline?
In terms of the bloodline? Yeah, in terms of the bloodline, I mean, I don't mind actually the titles being unified because I think there should only be one set of tag titles on WWE because there's not enough tag teams. There's not enough tag teams at all because there's literally like 3 or 4 legit tag teams you could say are on the WWE main roster. So you don't need 2 tag team belts, 2 sets of tag team belts for like 4 teams total.
Right.
And also at the same time, I don't know. This is the thing that I wonder right now. Who the hell is beating the Usos and Roman Reigns? Who's beating them? Because they've beaten everybody. Every single person you've thrown in front of the bloodline, they've beaten them, and in some ways they've beaten them pretty easily. So who are you building up that's going to be even to touch this group? Because right now, the way the WWE has built this group is that they're unstoppable, they're invincible. There's nobody on this current roster that can beat Roman Reigns or the Usos, which is what you run into in a big-time problem going forward because you have to try to find people that not only can beat these guys but make it legit and make it feel real that they actually can, give off that belief to the fans that these guys are qualified enough to beat the bloodline. So that's the problem right now, is that RK Bro was on fire. The fans were going nuts for Randy Orton. When was the last time Randy Orton got cheered this much by the fans? I can't remember. He's incredibly over. Riddle has become one of the biggest things in the WWE too. The way he's built himself up, especially with him and Randy Orton, they become one of the best tag teams out there. I think. I mean, I like the image. I have to admit, I like the image at the end with like the kids crying and everything. Roman Reigns going absolutely ape. You know what? Again, on like on RK Bro, just like beating the hell out of them, and that was a pretty cool image going off the show. But at the same time, what are you doing now? Who is beating them?
Well,
Roman Reigns is going to probably be facing Riddle and Orton. Are we really going to go another year or so with Roman Reigns keeping that championship until he faces The Rock? Are we really going to have no tag teams that are viable right now to beat the Usos? Because that's where we're going right now. Go ahead, Mac.
Well, look, now I had a thought. Initially, I had a thought because I kind of went into that watching that match on Friday night. Ended up watching it Saturday, but when I watched it, I ended up realizing I kind of felt that the Usos was going to win the match because I felt they was going to give the Bloodline all the gold. What I initially thought was that they were ultimately going to break RK Bro up and put Randy back in a solo storyline. But after that end of that match and that beatdown they put on RK Bro at the end of that match, clearly they're going to keep RK Bro together for a little bit longer, I think, and they're going to go back and forth with the Usos for a little bit. But you know how WWE likes to renew storylines. One of the greatest tag team rivalries in the last couple of years was obviously the New Day and the Usos. And I think eventually, once Big E gets healed back up or whatever, they're going to somehow get thrusted back into the tag team picture again and probably make a run at the Usos and ultimately maybe dethrone them. I just feel like that's the way WWE likes to do things, like to recycle old storylines, bring them back, give us the same thing they've already shown us. So that's just my thought. But I want to really, we can get ready to break away from WWE.
It's time to create
right now,
new stars. Create new stars. Yeah, just create new stars for the company, please. That's all we want.
Because I just don't know what kind of road they're headed down. But Jeff or Adam, I don't know. This next topic's for you guys, man. If one of you guys want to chime in on the Rangers and how you think they can get back into this series against the Hurricanes. They got a big win today earlier, according to you guys. So let us know.
I'll touch on it quickly.
The
Rangers are fighting their tails off. They won today's game. They didn't tie it, but they're back in it. Game 3 is a big game. Is a big game in both the NBA and in the NHL. So Carolina, who's one of the best teams, comes into Madison Square Garden and loses by 2 goals. I mean, this is stuff that I was hearing all week. Oh, well, the Rangers have no chance. They're going to lose. They lost 2 in a row. Oh my God, the Rangers are out of it. And I'm like, well, let's see what happens. And this is a turning point in the series. Let's see if they can win back-to-back games in the Garden. And then we can then call it a series, because right now, Rangers live to see another day. And if I'm Carolina, I already know that the Rangers have felt adversity in the last series. So, you can throw that mental portion out the window, because, if you come back like they did last series, down 3-1 to win the series in 7 and in overtime, this Rangers team has seen it all. So for them to come back and win in the fashion that they did, it shows a lot for this team. I'm hoping the magic continues. I don't know Jeff's thoughts about it, but for me, I think right now the Rangers, if they can keep playing like this, will find themselves in a Game 7 against Carolina as well.
What you got, Jeff?
Well, Adam, you just said it perfectly with what you just said. I mean, they're the team that you try really hard to put them away, and they always seem to just come right back. The Rangers are that feisty hockey team that you have to try to get them immediately, or if you leave them, I'm trying to think of the catchphrase. So if you leave them a little bit alive, or you let their pulse and heart keep beating a little bit, they're eventually going to come right back at you, and they're gonna beat you. Because that's exactly what the Rangers did the last series against the Penguins, when most of us thought that they were done after they went down 3-1. And what did they do? They fought back. There's stars on their team. Panarin, Zibanejad, and Kreider was able to get the key goals to get them back into that series. And then their goalie is all world. I mean, when Shesterkin is on his game for the Rangers, there's not a lot of goalies that can, stand up to where he is. He's. You want to talk about like going for a transition from a great goalie to another great goalie? Lundqvist to Shesterkin. I'm having trouble saying his name, but Shesterkin. He's a great, phenomenal goalie, and as long as he's in net, the Rangers are always going to have a fantastic chance to win the series. And all they got to do now is go into Game 4, hold serve. They have to thank you very much, fans. Shesterkin. And all they have to do is just go into Game 4, win, hold serve, and then they got to find a way to pick off a game in Carolina, and they should be all right. That's just the challenge. They got to try to find a way to, do better on the power play, continue to play good defense, get great goaltending, and when the shots are there, they got to try to put it in the net. Because I think the Rangers, I think the Rangers are the type of team, the hockey team, where they're actually playing a lot better than we expected they should be. So I mean, I'm not even that big of a hockey fan, and I mean, just the Rangers have impressed the hell out of me. I mean, I've been a Devils fan for years, so I mean, the Rangers have just done an awesome job. So I mean, I think they got a really good shot to still win this series. They just got to try to find a way to hold serve in Game 4. What's going on, Seabrook?
I mean, I don't know anything about hockey, so I just throw that in there because I know you guys follow a little bit at least, and I don't follow at all, honestly. So I have really nothing to add in depth about this topic. How about you, Zion?
Same with you.
We can get ready to move on.
Then. Language to me, dropping names, I'm like, that is another language.
And we're gonna go to the NBA.
I'm not even a big hockey fan. It's because I watch some of the games, like from here to there. Adam's like the guy you want to talk with when it comes to hockey.
I only watch to the NBA. I'm watching ESPN, and they're doing the top 10s. And what I do like about hockey is the referees back up, let them fight.
All right, we got the conference finals going underway in the NBA, man. It's been interesting to say the least. We're gonna start off with the Eastern Conference Finals right now. We got the Boston Celtics taking on the Miami Heat. Miami Heat taking a little bit of control of the series last night.
Look at smile. Look at smile over there.
Up 2-1 in the series. It's been a very interesting series. Been a back and forth series so far. And what you guys got, man? I know Zion got a lot to say about this one. Let's take it away, bro.
Go ahead, Zion. Go ahead. Talk about your Heat.
Watching the pregame, you got everybody on the panel, Stephen A., everybody, the who's who, saying Celtics, 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 Celtics. I'm like, I understand. They're at home. Stephen A. made a good point saying that, well, Miami has nothing to play for right now, so they'll probably lose this game. Well, what are you talking about? That's a bad point. They have everything to play for. They just got embarrassed at home. So knowing that, coming out and what we did, I did not expect that 39 points in the first quarter that actually carried us through the whole game. Big shout out to Kyle Lowry for stepping up and playing an amazing game. I know we lost Butler in the second half. One thing I want to point out is going forward in the series, hopefully that we can fix a lot of mistakes that we made yesterday. Even though we won that game, we should have had won by a lot and not let them get back in the game. There was a couple of times where we let them go on 8-0 ones. It kind of seemed like we took a lot of bad shots, a lot of shots that I didn't really understand why we're taking. We forced a lot of things where we didn't need to force. Shout out to Tatum and Smart for getting injured and getting back in the game. That's what I did like about that. I get it. Some fans may be like, well, you're on the ground for 2 minutes. Like, shouldn't you be injured? Well, obviously the momentum, of Tatum and Smart to fight back into the game and get back in the game, I absolutely loved. Butler with his knee inflammation, we'll see that going forward. I think he's going to be ready to go by tomorrow, but we'll see what happens there. We need, as a Heat fan, I need Tyler to step up, man. Tyler needs to play better basketball. Shout out to Bam. That was the Bam that we all knew he could be, and that's the kind of Bam that we're gonna need going forward in the series. We're gonna need Bam to go up and get his buckets and be dominant. Obviously you got Al Horford, but you got to realize too that Al Horford is 36. He's not the Al Horford as the younger Al Horford, and it's shown last night that we can slow them down. We can get in the head of the defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart. And if you look at Tatum's stats last night, he had 0-0-0 in the first quarter, and then he finally was on the board. So that was a really great first quarter from the Heat, and that kind of carried us through the whole game. You just need to play basketball as a whole and play basketball as I know this team can play basketball. As much as I love that win yesterday, I'm not confident in it. This was a steady performance by the Heat. Obviously, the first quarter was an amazing
Thank you
quarter,
very much,
but
Jake.
we shouldn't have been taking a lot of bad shots and rushing a lot of shots. So that being said, we have to fix a lot of things, but I'm confident in this team, and I'm confident we'll get it done and we'll represent the East.
Listen, I'll say this, okay? 18 turnovers is what really killed Boston because the Miami Heat converted on a lot of those turnovers into points.
Got a clean shot.
And the Celtics did. The Celtics played a game, if you take away those turnovers, that was winning basketball. They should have won the game, but they didn't because the 18 turnovers put them in such a hole and such a rut that they had to fight and claw their way out of it, and it took a lot of energy out. Normally, you see a team like this, maybe like the Warriors or a team like that can put the ball in the basket real quick, and maybe that's a different game. But for Boston, I felt like after they stumbled out the gate, they came together a little bit. Now I know they lost the game, but when you look at the score and the margin, it really was those 18 turnovers, and Miami really cashed in on it. That really changed the game the entire way through. If you take away, maybe you cut that in half, or they don't score that many points, maybe the game's a little closer, and then we're talking a different ball game. But that's what I see when watching that game last night.
Yeah,
and Marcus Smart is a freaking he's an animal, man.
That's why I said that first quarter, because most of those turnovers came in that first quarter where we went up by a lot, having clean buckets. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so for Boston to be in the game still after doing all that shows a lot. I think they'll clean it up for Game 4. I will do.
I like it. Jeff.
Got anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I what can we say? I mean, we all said that this series was going to be nasty. It was going to be physical. It was going to give us a little bit of that old school NBA type feel. And these teams have literally beaten the hell out of each other with the physical play they've been putting out there. The guys falling over the floor. Marcus Smart, Jimmy Butler, Ben Adebayo, Jason Tatum, all these guys going in and out of the game. But I echo with what Adam really said. Miami did a really good job hitting their three-point shots, and I think that kid Strus, he actually hit the biggest shot of the game when Boston was able to cut that lead down to 1, and then Strus was able to come down and knock down that 3 and bring the lead back to 4, and then Adebayo, who was absolutely phenomenal the entire game, he carried the Miami Heat. You should be thanking your lucky stars. That guy is on your team right now. But Boston, they lost this game. Boston was throwing horrendous passes the entire time, careless turnovers. Boston just absolutely, I don't know what they were doing the entire night, but Boston was literally throwing away the game, and that's how they got themselves into this big giant hole in the first half. And Jason Tatum was not Jason Tatum last night. Jaylen Brown was like a man possessed last night. That guy was hitting every single shot. And when he had the ball in his hands, you're like, okay, this guy's gonna make a shot. But Jason Tatum, he couldn't hit anything the entire night. Marcus Smart, this guy is legit animal. And same thing with Kyle Lowry. You want these guys on your team. That's just the type of players they are. They're gritty, hardcore, old school, hard-nosed basketball players that will get in your face, they will knock you down, they will take the charge. Those are the types of basketball players you want on your team. And Marcus Smart, he's a one tough SOB for going on that game. When he twisted his ankle, every single person was like, this dude is out for the rest of this game. No way he's coming back. He's definitely out Game 4. What does he do? Comes right back up 5 minutes later, back on the court. He hits a three-point shot just like that. So, I mean, I think the Celtics, one person that I would have to give a lot of credit to, I think that helped this game out and was a turning point for the Heat as well, Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo came back in that game. He did a hell of a job guarding against Tatum, as well as P.J. Tucker. And Oladipo showed off those skills that reminded people of how good of a basketball player he was before he had all those injuries that pretty much, put a damper on his career over the past couple of years. But Oladipo played great. Adebayo played great. Lowry was good. P.J. Tucker, another one of those guys that just gets under your skin. But he's that type of hard-nosed player. Hey, Adam, I bet we wish we had those guys on the Nets. But I mean,
don't get me started.
Those are the types of players.
Those are the types of players
that you want on your basketball team to win.
Any team, and not just your basketball team, any team.
Yeah.
These are the glue players that we talk about. When you're building a championship team, you need the guys like Marcus Smart who are going to be grimy, who are going to get in your face, who are going to look like Remember LJ for the Knicks? You know, he's getting in your face, grandma dunking on you. He's setting the tone. And I do believe, Boston also lucked out for this reason. We forget that Jimmy Butler was out in most of the second half. And so, that changed the whole dynamic of the game. I know Kyle Lowry, stayed steady. But see, if you don't build up
The
that
Celtics were missing Robert Williams, and Robert Williams is a very good player.
Well, he's
Robert
not
Williams
really
was a big loss for the Celtics because he was able to do some things against Adebayo. But yeah, he's not Butler's level. But Celtics are the type of team where they're missing one of their key players, and it really hurts their team big time.
What I'm saying is, but they can move on from losing that kid. The Heat cannot sustain this without Butler, right? Because the clamps will come down on them. You saw it towards the end of the game. Without Butler, Miami was struggling. They were literally struggling. They couldn't set up their offense. They were taking these shots from the moon, right? And then eventually the Celtics would crawl their way back in. So if next game Butler is out, I say advantage Celtics. They may come out the ones out the gate fast. So
there was a report today that Butler is actually supposed to be playing today. He's going to give it a go, and he's going to play in Game 4. I don't know how effective he'll be, but he said he's going to give it a go
for a while. Throughout the playoffs, he's been dealing with it. He's been playing with it, but he's been dealing with it.
Yeah, but these are the physical games that are going to get you in the ice tub a little longer.
To be honest,
because he wants to get the
if I could just jump in real quick, like I said,
go ahead.
I think the Heat. Right now the way this series is going. I just think the Heat are showing why they're number one in the Eastern Conference. You know what I mean? I think they're a resilient team that can still figure out ways. Like you said, Jimmy Butler went down. Their lead did indeed shrink on the other night, but yet they still won the game with their top guy out on the bench. I think the Boston Celtics need is they need that Game 7 effort they got to get in that Milwaukee series, like they got where all the role players were just stepping up and just killing it for them. You know what I mean?
I wonder if Tatum plays better, what the outcome is then, right? Because he did have a terrible game. So
he did. But
let's say that average game, does that change the outcome?
But to counter that, you need those. I mean, it's hard to say. But the way the game shaped up,
because if you're saying he needs the Game 7 effort, if Tatum has that effort, is this game closer when Boston's trying to come back? Because down the stretch, Tatum didn't hit much. He played defense, he got rebounds, but that Miami defense, kudos to Eric Spoelstra, because he's really taken a lot of the players out of the game. I know Zion mentioned Al Horford. Al Horford's good, but the problem with Al Horford is if he doesn't hit his shot, he's not effective. And last night he was effective hitting a shot, but you could see his age. He didn't have the same bounce. And Miami was ripping rebounds underneath him.
Good point, NYG.
And that's a great comment by NYG.
And Jaylen Brown was unconscious last night.
Because that's facts. That's why I'm not really that down with
three guys
the modern
right there,
day NBA right now, man. It's just not the same game to me. Like you said, when these guys was playing, ain't nobody want to get down there. Ain't nobody want to get down there posting up those dudes right there. You know he's going to get elbowed in the back of your head or something.
But Matt, you have that in this series.
Yeah, Mason's crazy.
In this series, though, because this Heat and this Celtics team, the Heat and the Celtics, they're those two teams that sort of bring back that old school type mentality, the way they play the game. I mean, they bring back that physical team, hard-nosed basketball that makes you think of like the 90s, the way they play the game. It's no coincidence they're the two teams right now in the Eastern Conference Finals because they out-physical you. They play great team defense. They hit those clutch three-point shots when they're there. They have a couple of star players that get the job done when it's there.
The Garden was abuzz last night, so I can't say the fans don't come out and show out for that Boston Celtics. But man,
they love them.
But I love it how he took those fans out of the game in the first quarter.
They did indeed, but there's
but
also
they came back to life at the end.
They did.
There's also another conference final series going on.
It was still an exciting game, you know what I mean?
There's another conference final series going on. Going on out west.
The Celtics they're gonna be good.
I am humble, but like I'm not saying you guys, I'm just saying most of the NBA community, including all these experts, just been like forgetting how good Butler is in the playoffs and just how good the Heat is. Like they've just been overlooking us, period, for the whole playoffs. And if you look at it too, like every commercial you see, there's no Miami Heat player in those commercials. It was John Morant, it was Steph Curry, it was Giannis, it was Tatum. They're giving Miami Heat no
Jimmy Butler was
airtime.
just in a commercial.
Well, just in a commercial, but I'm talking about the
Jimmy
playoff
Butler's
commercial.
in a commercial.
Well, one, and you have everybody else in like 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? So they've been overlooking the Heat countlessly, and if Bam can play the way I know Bam can play, and the way Bam showed you guys he could play last night, I mean, like the Heat's the team to beat still. That's it. It is what it is.
Well, and to get to the Western Conference Finals right now, just a quick update on the game right now. Game 3, it's Golden State 23, Dallas 17. I just think right now when it comes to the Western Conference Finals, I just think Golden State just got too much firepower. I mean, I know Dallas, they're a gritty team as well. Like they play some pretty. They have some good. They have Luka Doncic, who's just one of the best players, probably top 3 in the NBA right now. But the problem is they don't really have a lot of support. If Spencer Dinwiddie, who's another guy, former net, if he needs to step up and actually give some assistance to Luka Doncic, you also need a guy like Jalen Brunson to help him out, another guy out there. You need Dorian Finney-Smith to help out. Tim Hardaway Jr. not out there has been a big blow to this team. But the Golden State Warriors, they're just so loaded on offense. I mean, they could get you with 6 or 7 players on that team. Otto Porter was having big games. Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Looney, Kevon Looney was having a great game. Obviously, Steph, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. This team is so loaded on offense that it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's not those star players that you got to worry about. It's the guys that are like the bench players, the 6th, 7th, 8th men that can still come off the bench and get you an instant 10, 15, 20 points. So I think the Golden State Warriors, they're a loaded team on offense. I know Dallas is making a little bit of a comeback. Dinwiddie's starting to step up right now. But I just think the Golden State Warriors are just so explosive on the offensive end that I just think overall it's going to be hard for Dallas to be able to match them if somebody else besides Doncic is not being able to score consistently every single game in and game out about 20 points per game, because Golden State's just got so much firepower on this team. And they could just easily outshoot you, even if like Klay or Steph Curry are having off games. So I just think Golden State's just going to eventually take this, and they're going to go to the NBA Finals. No disrespect to Dallas at all, because they're a hell of a team too.
I 100% agree with that.
I think Golden State is just flat out better, and they proved it the other night. Friday night, the last game before this one. I was sitting at the bar drinking, watching the game. Dallas is up by like damn near 20 in the blink of an eye. I'm sitting there drinking my drink, eating my food, whatever. Look up at the screen again, and Golden State in the damn lead. And I'm like, and Steph Curry was off to a pretty slow start, but once they get it going, man, like you said, I think it's just too much for Dallas right now. I think this Dallas team is overwhelmed. Luka is doing everything he possibly can, but he's one man against a great team in Golden State. So I just think that they're just outmatched, period. And right now, this is a critical game 3 for them right now, and they're still off to a pretty slow start. So we'll see how this game turns out for them.
Oh!
But real quick, AK too, man.
Big buzzer beater shot by Doncic.
Too closely. I don't follow the Bulls too closely, man. But at the same time, I know Zach LaVine means a lot to that team, and that would be a big, huge blow to them. So I think y'all need to do y'all best to try to hold on to him, whatever possible, man, because he's definitely
grew into a nice player.
There's been rumors of him possibly teaming up. Yeah. Remember, he was just a dunk contest kid when he first started off? Yes. And then he developed into he's developed in a pretty good all-around player. There's been some rumors he could maybe go over to Portland and team up with Dame over there. So, I mean, I think the Bulls should try to keep him, because I know DeRozan had an incredible year this past year, but overall, I think Zach LaVine might be their overall best player. So I think it would be paramount for them to be able to keep him there, unless they maybe do a sign and trade. Maybe they try to sign him and they trade him over to a Portland and see if they can get some young pieces coming back to like help replenish that team. So, yeah, I mean, I would, if I was a Bulls fan, for like you and like Pat, I would hope that they can be able to keep LaVine in Chicago. But It's all going to depend on what he's going to demand in a free agency.
Oh,
And to touch on NYG's 22 comment real fast, I see your point, but I honestly think teams like the Heat and the Celtics are match up. I wouldn't say match up nightmares, but can match up pretty well against a team like Golden State. Like Jeff just said it, their bench, they can come on and they can put up points, but so can the Heat's bench, so can Boston's bench. If you think about the Heat and Boston's defense, I honestly think the Heat and Boston plays better defense than Golden State. If you look at the route and who they have to go against, I think the East has been a harder route to get to the finals than the rest. So that being said, I think whoever represents the East, whether it be Boston or Miami, I think the winner is coming out of the East this year. Not to overlook Golden State, but if you look at it, both teams, Boston and Miami, match up good against Golden State. Like, yeah, I get it. They got shooters, they got Poole, they got.
I think Golden State's still the best team.
Curry, and obviously Draymond Green is still a beast. But at the end of the day, Golden State on paper may be the best team, but I honestly think that Boston and Miami plays way better defense than them.
Well, I think Golden State is the best team in basketball right now on the Western Conference. I don't even think it's close. I think Dallas is punching above their weight class right now. They're not quite ready for this level of basketball. Plus, you got championships on there. Steve Kerr knows how to get these guys ready and motivated for a team. And like I said, their players are just playing phenomenal. They can do anything. They shoot inside, shoot outside. Their bigs are playing out, working people. Draymond Green is the fire starter to that engine.
Kevon Looney has been absolutely unbelievable.
And Looney has been doing well.
This whole entire series.
But when let's say they advance to the finals, I agree with Zion here. Okay, I think the East plays a little bit more physical brand of basketball that we talked about. The West likes to run up and down the floor a little bit, and when I do believe the Eastern Conference can also play that brand of basketball, and that's what makes.
Cut off, Adam.
Luka Doncic is such a great player. I don't know if you guys saw that last shot that he just made, the half-court shot. He's ridiculous. I mean, they're absolutely just like we know Golden State's a better team. Give Luka Doncic his due. This guy has turned himself into a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal basketball player with what he's done this postseason. Just get him help, and Dallas is going to be a team to worry about going forward. Just get this man some help on that team.
This team interesting because.
But yeah, I agree with Adam. I think Golden State overall is the best team.
Continue, Adam. I think Adam's having some technical difficulties right now.
What's up, guys? I don't know where I left off.
Yeah.
Something about physical.
And then what was happening? I was saying Golden State. I said Golden State doesn't have. I don't think the physicality that the Eastern Conference can bring. I think the Celtics match up well. If Tatum plays like the All-Star we know he can play, this is a different series, right? So Golden State, I think Golden State has shown us, hey, don't sleep on them because they still got that pedigree. But I just don't sleep on the East either because Miami has the length to do it. They have a lot of guys that come off the bench. They're pesky when they play defense. Okay, they're going to be grimy. They're going to get dirty. They're going to get filthy. They're not just going to let you play your game. The thing about Miami that I like is that they let the game come to them.
That's a great point, Adam. They do that.
Well,
they do that a lot.
Well, look, I just think coming out. Look, I already pretty much just said I think Golden State's coming out the West. I like Miami coming out the East right now. I just think they're more mentally tough than Boston right now from what I'm seeing in this series. They're going to find a way to win the series, and the fact that they have home court advantage is going to help them. That they're going to get the extra home game if need be for Game 7, and if there is a Game 7. But I like Golden State to win it all, and the reason, like I said, is why because this team is remarkable in the sense that they have truly kept their core together from when they were winning championships, and they've had a couple of down years. But they still have those core guys, those guys that know how to win, series, that know how to win a title. They still got Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. These guys were still there. And then they got these other good young Jordan Poole playing for.
And Klay Thompson missed not 1 but 2 years. 2
What's it
years
called?
Klay
Playing out
Thompson
of his
missed.
mind. What's
2
it called?
years,
Did
and
not
he's
go-
come back.
did
He's
not
like
go
he didn't miss
solid
any
play.
time.
Did
Yeah,
not go
Booty.
home and play with LeBron. Ended up staying with Golden State. I like that, Klay Thompson. Continue.
Here, Zion, let Mac finish his point. Let Mac finish his point.
You're getting solid play out of Andrew
ahead, Mac.
Wiggins. You know what I mean? It's just, I think Golden State just has too much championship pedigree, and they're not gonna let this one slip through their shoulders, man. Through their fingers this season. I think ultimately, when it's said and done, they're gonna be holding up that trophy come the end of the season, man. I think they're going to be the last team standing, and I think that's just the reason why. I just think they know what it takes. I mean, I know Miami they won the championship during the pandemic season. Really, I mean, that was kind of a
We lost to the Lakers.
they lost it, but whatever. That was a weird whatever. They were in there.
We wouldn't have been there as a Miami Heat fan. I'll tell you this right now. We were so young as a team. We wouldn't have been there if it wasn't the bubble. If we had to go to home arenas, we would have probably got taken out, and that's just me being real. The fact that it was the bubble and we did make it to that finals, and obviously I can't sit up here and say it would be a different game if Bam played the whole series, because we all know Bam was out. But long story short, RIP the GOAT, man. It was just the Lakers' year, man. It was just their year.
Well, if we can get ready to segue.
I agree. And I agree with MYG's point. That was a great discussion, though, by the way. Awesome discussion with everybody in the chat. I mean,
We can
great discussion talking NBA.
I do apologize.
Any
for
more
the
thoughts on?
difficulties.
That's all right, bro. It happens, man. Got any more thoughts on anybody? Any more thoughts on the NBA? If not, we can segue to the go talk a little baseball, man. Move to a little bit of baseball.
I think we should go on to the MLB.
And
Yeah.
do the New York Mets have what it takes to overcome the mountain of injuries piling up on them right now? They got like 3 starting pitchers out. You got the damn catcher. What the hell? I forgot his name right now offhand.
Oh,
He's
McCann,
out,
James
gonna be out for a
McCann.
while.
James
McCann is going to be out for a while. Well, Starlin Marte did just rejoin the team. He was on bereavement after his grandmother passed away. He did rejoin the team yesterday, had a big home run. But do the Mets have what it takes, man? I'll just start off with this real quick. I think they absolutely do, because there's just something different about this New York Mets team this year. There's something there on a different level. They're not so reliant on their starting pitching like they have been the last couple of years, man. This team has bats in the lineup that can legitimately get it done, and they are getting it done. They have still, here we are at the end of May, almost into June, and the New York Mets have only lost 1 series this entire season so far, and they split another one. Other than that, they have won every series they've played this season, and it's a lot to do with their bats. They still have not got 1 inning pitched by their best pitcher on the roster in Jacob deGrom, and they just lost their second best pitcher for at least until about July or so, and Max Scherzer the other day, which was very scary. When you see a player pull himself out of a game, you know something's not right. But Jeff, what you got on the Mets, man? There, Jeff?
Mac, I'm actually going to disagree a little bit with you, because I actually don't think it's the hitting that's what's winning them games right now. I actually think it's the pitching. Have you seen how good the pitchers they have right now are doing right now? Taijuan Walker pitched 7 scoreless innings right now and is pitching to a 2.79 ERA. Carlos Carrasco is pitching to a 3.5 ERA, and Chris Bassett is also pitching to about a 3 ERA. So the Mets right now, even with the loss of their 2 best pitchers right now, and the Scherzer injury will hurt them overall, they are still pitching the lights out with their guys they have right now. And if Carlos Carrasco, Taijuan Walker, and Chris Bassett keep pitching the way they are, and they can just get the type of offense, get a few runs here and there, have like a couple of balls go out of the park, or even a couple of doubles and singles here, the Mets are going to be a very difficult team to beat, because they're just showing the depth they have right now in that rotation. And that's what makes this team a very scary team, is that they're still being able to go out there and shut down your opposing offense, even with their 2 best pitchers, who are probably not going to be back until sometime during the summer. Could be sometime late summer, with Scherzer at least. DeGrom, we still have no idea. But, yeah, the pitching has been absolutely out of this world. The hitting has been spotty at times. I mean, they won 2-0 today. A couple of RBIs by Lindor and Alonso, who have got to be the guys to carry this offense along with McNeil. But I mean, they're getting the job done. The pitching has to keep helping this. The pitching right now is what's helping this team stay afloat, and it has to continue to be what helps this team stay afloat. They have to keep getting what these contributions from the guys they have there, because Carrasco is still a damn good pitcher.
I'm not
Walker's still a
taking
good
away
pitcher,
from
and Bassett.
From those guys. What I think we might have maybe misunderstood each other a little bit, or misunderstood me a little bit, was I'm not talking about the Mets starting pitching. I still know, even with DeGrom down, McGill down, Scherzer down, I understand the starting pitching. The Mets have a hell of a starting rotation. The problem with Mets pitching is when it's time, once those guys' pitch counts go up in games, and you bringing in the relievers, it's been shaky at best at times. It's been absolutely shaky at best, in my opinion. When you start going to the bullpen, and that's where the bats come. That's where the bats come into play, because that's when you need that run support, and you got to get those guys getting on base, and they're doing a great job of doing that. And he's Buck Showalter, man. He sets his lineups. He's a genius. The way he sets his lineups every game, like I said, when you have a player the caliber of Jeff McNeil, the flying squirrel, and you can sit there at some nights and put him in the 8 hole in your lineup, a player like Jeff McNeil batting 8th, that doesn't even sound fair. It doesn't even sound fair. He's so. I think this team is special because with some of the key additions, like I said, Marte I mentioned earlier, and bringing in Escobar and it's just adding them to the mix with these guys. You already had the consistent, Pete Alonso and guys like that on the team already. But now you're adding a couple of more guys that bring. And then shout out to my boy Guilherme too, man. Shout out to Guilherme, who's been on fire, been absolutely on fire the last past week or so, man.
Yeah.
This guy is just starting. His bat is starting to connect to that, putting the wood on that ball, and he's just getting on base. And his defense is amazing. His defense is spot on anyway. That's never been an issue, but he was in a little bit of a slump earlier. You know what I mean, with getting on base.
I agree.
His defense has been
phenomenal,
man. Guilherme, so shout out to him, man. He's been holding it down a lot, man. A lot of key hits and a lot of key spots, man. Then you bring that young kid off the bench a lot of times, Jankowski, absolutely fly around those bases, man. This team has a little bit of everything you need to really take it all the way, man. And I would love to get a Subway Series later on in October, baby. I would love to see a Subway Series. So let's go. Cause New York Mets all the way, baby. I'm not discounting the Yankees. I know they still the team that matters in New York the most. But let's go, Mets. This is the Mets ever had a shot this year is the year.
That's good because I agree with you.
But Mac, you just said it right there in one of your points. Is your defense? The defense has been great. The defense. When was the last time the Mets had a great defense behind their pitching staff? They've always had guys who've been fumbling the baseball all over the place, throwing it away, and that's what's been one of the things that have hurt this team. The Mets defense has been much better this year, and it's helping out it's been helping out their pitching staff a whole lot, and I agree. And how about those two guys at the top of their lineup with Brandon Nimmo and Starling Marte? Two guys that are going to be on base a ton. They're going to beat out those infield throws. They're going to get on base. They're going to steal bases. They're going to get you those singles. Those are the types of energizer players you need at the top of your lineup, and then you have your boppers in the middle, like Alonso, like a Lindor, like a Canna, and an Escobar when he starts getting going. I mean, you have guys on this team. It's Edwin Diaz. Good point, Levance. Edwin Diaz has got to be the guy that has to be the automatic closer at the bottom. Exactly. He's got to close the games. Go ahead, Adam.
You said everything. I mean, the Yankees are the Bronx Bombers for a reason. We'll see what happens. I would love to see a Subway Series just for the city itself. It brings a little bit of magic back, especially come down the stretch if they're in a pennant race together. I mean, who knows, right? And at that point, we'll really find out who the best team in New York is, right? Because then you'll really have your Canyon of Heroes celebration. But for me, I'm a Yankee fan, but it's cool to see the Mets do what they're doing. I mean, I told you Buck Showalter is going to have these guys fight. Okay, and that's what you have seen out of the Mets. They keep fighting. They're going to keep fighting, and they're going to keep fighting. And wherever their chips fall, because this happens to be, for me, at least in my lifetime, the Mets story, right? They always build up, and then injuries derail what could be a promising season, and then we're sitting back next year in the offseason going, man, if we had this guy, or they had this guy, or this had this guy, or this broke right. I think the Mets right now have a manager that's leading them through the wreckage. And I think at the end of this, you're going to see the Mets and possibly the Yankees fighting for what could be an eventual Subway Series down in late October. So we'll see.
Well, fellas, real quick, with a quick update midway through the second quarter, the Dallas Mavericks have turned it on a little bit, and they are now in the lead, 34-29, up 34-29 against the Golden State Warriors about midway through the second quarter.
Let's get out.
I mean, that doesn't matter.
Did when he's stepping up.
But if we want to stay with baseball for a minute, man, we're going to go to a little bit of a fun topic here, not about none of the New York teams. This is about a player out there in L.A., man, that's been making some serious noise the last couple of years, man. Can we call, I'm probably going to butcher his name, can we call Shohei Ohtani a modern-day Babe Ruth, man? This guy literally does it all.
Let's preface this. Mac is not saying that he's Babe Ruth by numbers or anything like that. Just what he does on the football field, the baseball field, makes him the Babe Ruth. Just wanted to put that out there for people.
Absolutely, that's what I'm not actually calling him Babe Ruth. I'm just saying he is versatile and does pretty much similar to how Babe Ruth was back in the day. Goes out there one night, he'll pitch, starting pitcher at a very high level. Then even when he's not pitching, he's still in that damn lineup, hitting that ball, smacking it all over the park, hitting with a high percentage. So getting on base, hitting home runs.
I think more people should do what he's doing. I really do, because baseball is a game where we can all play. I mean, guys play until they're late 40s. I mean, they don't have to do much running. You can bring in a pinch runner. I mean, this is fun. Let him do things. This is the first time in at least my generation where, and maybe I'm missing somebody, and chat, you can call me out if you do, but at least in my lifetime where I see a guy play all these positions and excel at these positions and, contribute to the team. Usually guys are on their rest. He needs 5 days. We won't see him again. No, you're seeing him right field, left field, playing, doing whatever, hitting DH. That is great. How many players in the modern era have you said can do what he's doing right now?
Yeah, he's the only one doing it.
Exactly.
The only one doing it.
And I think that's more people. I'm not saying it'll change the game, but more people should embrace what's happening with this, because it's history, people. We haven't seen this since basically what Mac was talking about, Babe Ruth era of baseball, where you just didn't sit out. You just played. And then the next day you played. And then, because that's how you fed your family. Babe Ruth doesn't hit a baseball. He ain't feeding his family, and he loved to gamble and he loved to drink. So, Babe Ruth was trying to hit them home runs because he needed that money.
If I'm not mistaken, I was gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, last year in the All-Star game, this guy was the starting pitcher for the American League, as well as the home run leader as well as the home run leader in all of baseball at the All-Star break last year. So
that just shows how talented this kid is.
So I mean, this kid is the epitome of an everyday player. This dude is the epitome of what an everyday player is. Because when he's not the starting pitcher, he is still in that Angels lineup, like I say, either DHing or playing in the outfield. And that's just something phenomenal to be said about a talent like that, man. What you got, Jeff?
I mean, I can't put it any better than the both of you guys just said. You guys just pretty much said exactly what Needham said about a guy like Shohei Ohtani. A guy that's a type of player we really have not seen in baseball in a very long time. A guy that can go out there, go onto the mound, pitch 6-7 innings, pitch to about a sub 3 ERA at points, and then he can go out there and he can ding you about 30 home runs and get you about over 100 RBIs. When was the last time we've seen a baseball player be able to do this? Would I call him the modern day Babe Ruth right now? No, I still think it's way too early, and Babe Ruth was just on another level in terms of the type of player he was. If Shohei Ohtani keeps going on the trajectory that he's going on right now and he's manages to stay healthy, maybe, just maybe, you could have some type of argument. But this guy is the type of baseball player that you would want to get behind and you want to root for all the way. And then you have to look at that Angels team right now. They have two revolutionary type baseball players out there with him and Mike Trout. I mean, those are two baseball players like that any team right now would love to start their team, have one of those guys to start their team with, and the Angels have two. So I mean, Shohei Ohtani is just a revolutionary type of player that this sport has badly needed, especially with like the NFL taking off in popularity, the NBA even like surpassing baseball in a way. Baseball needs this type of player to like, get the type of mainstream media it needs, sell the commercials, get young kids invested in, like it was back then when they had a Sosa, McGuire, or Ken Griffey Jr., or Derek Jeter, these types of players. And that's exactly the type of player that a Shohei Ohtani could be for the sport of baseball, is this type of guy that can go out there and not only dominate you on the mound, pause, but also be able to go out there and hit 30 home runs in the batter's box. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's a modern-day Babe Ruth right now. I would just say he's a modern-day Shohei Ohtani, if anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't. Just like Adam said at the beginning of this topic, I'm not literally comparing him to Babe Ruth. I mean, I know Babe Ruth's career is long over, and he did it. It's been seen. We already know what he accomplished, and Ohtani is a long, long way from that. I'm just making a comparison as far as someone who does it all the way Babe Ruth did it. I haven't seen that in my lifetime until I seen Ohtani. So I'm not calling him actually Babe Ruth yet. He has a long way to go to get to there. I'm just saying that all the things he does for the Los Angeles Angels, this guy, like I said, he just does everything. He is truly their everyday player, and that's on a team like Jeff just mentioned that has Mike Trout on it. So that just goes to show you right there. I mean, this guy is loaded with talent, and he has the potential to really, really, really be that guy, man. He still got a ways to go to actually be Babe Ruth, but like I said, as far as what he provides for his team, it's definitely Babe Ruth. Like I said, this guy literally was one of the leading home run hitters last season and one of the best starting pitchers all at the same damn time. Only the Babe has ever accomplished such a thing. You know what I mean? Such anything that's even been close to accomplishing something like that. So
a great Bambino.
So I mean that's all. I know he has a long way to go. You're right, and I agree 100% with this comment. NYG, man, I definitely agree with you. But he's definitely on his way, man, for real, for sure.
Well
like
said,
Jeff
NYG.
said.
He's bringing
fans.
right.
He's bringing fans to the game that may not have tuned in before. So it's good for baseball.
Absolutely.
Good for the sport.
And you guys,
Baseball needs it. They need it.
If you guys have anything else on baseball, we can get ready to move on, man, and get to where everybody is always here for the most, and that is the NFL. And there wasn't really a whole lot of news to talk about, but we can start off with this topic here because it hits close to home. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles acquiring free agent cornerback James Bradbury, and we all know where he spent his last couple of years at. Mm-hmm. So how do you guys feel about him playing for the enemy?
Funny story.
You guys want to start?
My girlfriend come up to me the other day because the little Eagle fan is talking some shit to her in her classroom. And she goes to me, "Hey, what can I say back to him about James Bradbury?" I look at her and go, "Nothing. He's good. There's nothing you can say like bad about, he can't even talking shit to a 4-year-old or whatever it was because he's just too good of a player. There's nothing I can say to, like, I'm sad that James Bradbury is gone. But like when people are talking shit, I'm just like, yo, man, like, it's not like somebody that we really hate that's going there. It's like it's just James Bradbury, man. He's gonna be solid. He's not gonna talk trash. And he's going to get the job done. And unfortunately, he's playing in the Eagles, so we're going to see him twice a year. It's like, oh my God, if the season for the Giants wasn't already tough, and I know people are going to say, oh, look at the schedule. It's already tougher now because this guy's going to know a little bit about the personnel. He's going to know Daniel Jones's tendencies, whether you like it or not, and that'll spread like wildfire in the meeting room. With the little tendencies. So for me, I'm going to miss Bradbury, but man. That story I thought was funny. And when she came home, I was like, give me some shit talking points. I'm like, I can't. James Bradbury's that good, So good luck for him. Good luck to him. Except when he plays us.
That's what I wanted to say too. Good luck to Bradbury. I think he's an amazing cornerback in this league, and you know, wishing him the best. But then again, like I said on this topic earlier, is NFL is not won in May. Last year, if you look at it, the Giants won. It looks like we won the offseason. We made a lot of good moves, you know what I'm saying? We signed a lot of good pieces. We had a good draft. We was out there on paper saying, yeah, we're gonna win this division. At least I was. 12-5 record, and then what happened? The 2021 Giants happened. Health, injuries concerned, and they all went to shame, right? And then we ended up finishing with 4 wins. Good move by the Philadelphia Eagles. Good on paper move. On paper, they're watched to look like they're gonna win the division. But that being said, the NFL is not won in May. Good pickup. If I was the Eagles fans, I'll be happy with the moves you guys made this offseason. On paper, it looks legit, but we'll see when it comes football time. But good pickup.
You know, interesting. Let me mention something there. Their roster building has been very smart this year.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that, I don't disagree that they're going to be the top players in the division, or at least trying to fight for it. What I'm saying is that when a guy like Bradbury goes there to a team that's, one of their weaknesses was cornerback, right?
Absolutely.
Now you bring in, and now they have 2 veteran corners on the outside, can really mask a lot in the back end of a defense. So he automatically helps them going forward. So, I mean, I understand, like, the Eagles, and I don't want to see them do well in the things. I just think, I know on paper what this guy brings. Namdi Asamoah going to the Raiders, and they're telling me that the Eagles, and they're the dream team and all that. They were shit stirs. These guys aren't stirring the pot just yet, right? So James Bradbury will go in there quietly and not say a word, and you'll see that defense improve, and you'll wonder why. Oh, I guess it's that 24 guy who I don't see, or is picking things off. So I really do think he's going to be an upgrade more than a lot of people think.
Absolutely, and it makes me kind of not. There is more questions than there is answers right now in our secondary. I mean, like, if you think about it, our defensive line on paper looks solid, but after that, there's a lot of questions. So hopefully we can put it together. But we lost like James Bradbury to this roster. I understand we didn't have the resources to pay him. He wasn't in any situation gonna take a cut. We already negotiated and we restructured his contract. This is a guy that made $4 million in his first 4 years in the NFL. He's not gonna take a pay cut. Good for him on his next venture, but sadly, he has to be a division opponent.
Well, yeah, I mean, the pickup for the Eagles, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just looking at it from that perspective. It just is yet another good move and what's been a very good offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I had to admit, I hate giving them any form of props, but it's the truth is what the truth is.
It's just everything they needed, everything.
And I'm not saying acquiring James Bradbury puts them in a Super Bowl or anything crazy like that. I'm just saying it makes them better. And I think all they've done this offseason is done a whole lot of things to make them better. They had a good draft. They acquired A.J. Brown. They now and a trade during the draft. Now they got James Bradbury too, which was like one of my worst nightmares, man. I didn't really want to see him. I mean, it's only a 1-year deal, so he's not right now on the hook in long term for them. So we might deal with him for 2 games this year, and he might be on his way to somewhere else next year.
But Mac, at the same time, think about it like this, Mac. This team had Nakobe Dean come in, all these young players that they're building around, and now you give them a player that you know is a strength. You're taking a strength from another team and giving it to a team that already had a weakness and now made it their strength. I mean, James Bradbury, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like this team is going to be good.
I was just going to throw one more quick thing in there. I was going to say, because I think my personal opinion on his decision to maybe even sign with the Eagles, well, obviously a good 1-year, $10 million contract is one reason. That's a good reason right there. But also, that's so late in the offseason process now, in a sense where maybe, he's already situated up here, I guess, in northern Jersey somewhere, wherever he may live at, I would assume. And maybe this is an easier kind of team for him to go to, where he doesn't have to be moving his family, uproot his family. He can still pretty much stay, if he stay in Jersey, and still go play for the Eagles. I mean, that's not that much of a commute like that. if you think about it, considering you're getting paid $10 million, I'll get up and drive an hour to work every day if that's what
Hey man, the
I'm
New
getting
Jersey
paid $10 million.
Turnpike ain't no joke though. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to. I've been on there a couple times. I don't want to.
No,
Get me
it's
close.
not.
Maybe I'm moving.
It's crazy.
Maybe I'm moving.
I'm scared of that. I'm scared of the New Jersey Turnpike. But like in a way,
But
I guess
so-
for my 2 cents on the whole James Bradbury situation. Oh, go ahead, Mac. Finish your point first.
No, I was just gonna say, but I was just thinking that had a little bit to do with his decision too. Just somewhere where he can probably kind of just stay chill where he's at right now, at least for this year. Ain't got to go into some big move somewhere. Like if he decided to go to like Dallas or something like that, he had to obviously move his family and uproot his family and all that stuff. And maybe who knows? I don't know his family situation, his kids or whatever he's got going on. So he might want to keep them in the same schools that they're in already. Whatever, you know. What I mean, those go into some of these decisions. Sometimes people sign these contracts, these free agent contracts. They think about their family as well.
Wait, this is
always
not Madden?
about them.
This is not Madden. You can just have a unlimited salary cap and do whatever you want.
It's definitely not Madden. What you got, Jeff?
Yeah. But I mean, on the whole James Bradbury situation, I mean, I've seen the fans going back and forth all around. Eagles fans, this is not making you a Super Bowl team. And Giants fans, don't take this as like this guy is trash and he's going to go over there and we're just going to be throwing the ball all over him like he's not going to be able to cover us. It's a good move. It's a good move by the Eagles signing a veteran cornerback to go with another very good veteran cornerback for a very good pass rush. Who, guys, don't forget, they added Hassan Reddick, who has had a great season this past year in Carolina, to that pass rush with a couple of good young defensive tackles and players they already have on that line. So their defensive line is going to help out that pass rush that they got. And I agree, on paper, the Eagles, on paper, might have the best roster in the NFC East, but you could take that piece of paper, you could crumple it up, throw it in the fire, toss it in the trash. It don't matter because it's just paper. Wait until they come over.
Since you brought that up,
let me
bring
bring something up to you.
Paper thing.
Let me bring something up. I think Mac might be agreeing with me. I don't want to hear about paper. You know why I don't want to hear about paper? This is why. The Eagles have been pesky every freaking season. You know that when they make a move like this, it ain't going to be no fucking house of cards, okay? They're going to be fighting for the division. They made these moves because they want to win fucking football games, okay? I'm just tired of sitting here saying paper champions. I'm not saying paper champions. What I'm looking at a roster right now, right, of the Eagles, who's bringing in a team that they know that they're going to be competing with, a team that we should be in. Look at their rebuild. Look at how they're doing it. So when you bring a guy like James Bradbury, we could say, paper. I know that if they make it to September, this team is going to be feisty. Because last time I counted them out last year, and that team ended up stomping us out. And NYG is correct. We have one legit cornerback on our team. One. I don't want to hear about Aaron Robinson. None of you know how good he's going to be. I don't care unless you went to whatever college he went to and you studied his playbook and you were an intern on their sideline and ran the defense. I don't want to hear how good this player is going to be.
But that's the point I was getting ready to make too myself also with the paper thing. See, we're got a lot of good buzz from Giants fans and everybody's happy with the draft and things of that nature. But we don't. These aren't established players in the NFL. These are guys we're hoping is going to work out, and we hope everything is going to be all right. See, the moves the Eagles have made, we know A.J. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. We know what Hassan Reddick brings to the table in the pass rush game. We know what James Bradbury brings to the table. This ain't no unknown. These aren't unknowns. We know what these players can do. We don't know, for what it's worth, how Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be as a pro. We hope he's going to be the shit, but we don't really know that until we see it. I mean, you just got to see what these guys do at the NFL level. And I'm excited as any other Giant fan. Yes, I am indeed. Because I love what we did this offseason. I love the draft picks. I feel like we have improved the offensive line, but we still don't know until we see them play on the field. We've seen A.J. Brown play. Like I said, we've seen those guys play. We know what they're going to do when they put on the Eagle uniform. They're going to go out there, and they're not going to forget how to play football. They're going to still go out there and be the top-level players that they are. And they're going to be wearing an Eagle uniform instead of whatever teams they were on last year. Like I said, we have a lot of unknowns with this New York Giant team, and that's a good way we can segue to the next topic. New York Giant OTAs were underway this past week, man, and been hearing a lot of good things coming out of camp, out of there. But like I said, they're still running around in shorts and
See,
t-shirts. So you don't really
this is
nobody's hitting
where
nobody yet.
this is where that comment you say about paper, this is where it comes into play. Because this is where I don't give a damn about a report on OTA, right? I care about a roster building because the thought process to a roster building is we've gotten better. The OTA, everyone's like, oh, rainbows and butterflies. Daniel Jones is throwing to Kadarius and Rondell Robinson. Woo, guys, happy. Great. I don't give a damn. Like Max said, September 11th is coming. And you know who's coming down that pike? The Tennessee Titans. And I want to say this, all right? I am a very optimistic fan. But people don't like the way I come off because I slap you in the face with realness. Okay, and the realness right now is Tennessee is looking at us just like we're looking at every other booty-ass team on our schedule. Okay, so I don't want to hear about how good we are in OTAs because that doesn't mean anything. No one's going to remind me like, oh, you know what? He was playing great in OTAs when we had the 6-string cornerback out there and all these other 90-man rosters. I want to wait till September 11th comes and they strap on the helmets and go down to Tennessee. Because that's when we're going to find out what this team is made of. Not in OTAs, kicking around a football with the general manager throwing passes and Daniel Jones and this doing this and this great camp reports and all this stuff. Wait till September 11th. That's when I'm going to make my evaluation. Sorry.
And I mean, just going off of your point too, Adam, I mean, you guys just pretty much said it spot on. And I mean, when I was talking about the paper thing, I wasn't really going off like what you guys were talking about before. I'm just really saying that who the hell really knows because it's the NFL. What some team might look like now, it doesn't mean it's what they're going to look like when even the season starts because you have injuries that have come into play every single off season. When training camps start, you have guys dropping all the time. Prominent players that miss time.
I agree
You
with
have
you.
guys that can be out for seasons. You could be guys that can be out for a few weeks. You don't really know. And I mean, I agree with you guys 100%. And what MYG said before, we have guys. There are players on this team that have upside, that could be something, we could be looking at during the season and beyond and be like, this guy is a guy that we thought could be a good player, and he turned out to be a good player. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know what he is right now. And he's right. Adoree Jackson goes down right now. Are we going to feel comfortable with that secondary going in with Aaron Robinson, who is going to his second year? He might have upside, but he's still got to prove himself out there. Rodarius Williams coming off a torn ACL. Who really knows what condition he's really going to be in? Cordero Flott. He has some potential, was very good in college, but that's college. And at the same time, he's got to put on some weight when he plays the slot corner position. Darnay Holmes, in and out of the lineup consistently. What is he going to be in this new defense? We have a lot of question marks with a lot of these young players. Evan Neal, is he going to be able to transition immediately and be a good right tackle? Kayvon Thibodeau, Wan'Dale Robinson, all these guys. You got to try to let these guys go in there and develop. We are not expected to go into this year and immediately become a 12, 13-win team. And some Giants fans are thinking because Dable and Shane and these guys have walked into the door that we're automatically going to be that much better. Daniel Jones is going to become a great quarterback. Saquon Barkley is going to become a great running back again because the scheme is going to be better. That is 100% the truth. The scheme will be a lot better, and things will look better on offense, but it doesn't mean that these guys are actually going to stay on the damn field, which is what I've been preaching the entire offseason when you're putting your trust in a bunch of players that have not proven right now they can last even 7-8 games in a season right now. So that's the biggest question right there. The injuries on this team have been a disaster for so many years, and how can you put your faith in a bunch of guys, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm including Andrew Thomas, who has had 2 off-season ankle surgeries both years. As much as he's been progressing, he's had injury issues well, and every single one of our playmakers, including our quarterback, have had trouble staying on the field. So, as much optimism as we have, and that's warranted right now, we need to see these guys get on the field. I'm sorry, Mac, I just want to finish my point real quick. We need to let these guys get on the field when the season starts, see what they can do, and actually see if they can make it through the season, and also see if these young players can go out there and prove themselves on the NFL level and not just in college. Go ahead, Mac.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, you brought them up real quick. I was just going to say that's also a problem with this New York Giants team is we have a quarterback going into his fourth year as a starter, and he is still a question mark, and that is also problematic with this football team. I think we could be a lot more confident if we really truly knew what version of Daniel Jones we were going to get as
I'll
well.
give you what
We
version, Daniel
we
Jones.
had we still he's it's also still an unknown. It's something that Coach Dable and other coaches are going to do. Is that something going to finally the light bulb click in Daniel Jones' head? I don't know. None of us know. We have
Mac,
no clue what kind of Daniel Jones we're going to get. We still don't know. We hear a lot of good things in OTAs, but we heard a lot of good things about OTAs last year in training camp. How great Daniel Jones is looking, and how good, and this and that, and this and that, and all this and all that. So it's a
I've
lot.
been
There's just so many question marks with this New York Giant team right now, and a lot of it is all speculation. And I can't wait to see these guys, and I hope they prove me completely wrong. But I just don't have high expectations, at least not this year. I think we're a very young team with so much to prove, and I'm not going to get set up like I did last year and get on that hype train. I'm just not going to do it.
Mac, you bring up a great point with the quarterback because
I'm about to
I was
say-
shopping one day. I was shopping in the grocery store and I was going down the aisles, right? And I'm sitting there, you know. I'm not going to tell you what place I go to shop because I don't want you stalking me out, okay? So I'm there. I go into the dental section, you know, where the Listerine is, and I'm looking at the Listerine. I look at the price of Listerine. I'm like, damn, that's expensive. I want that. Why do I want that? Why do I want that big, sexy bottle in my cabinet? Because that's friggin' Listerine. And people are like, Adam, where are you going with this? Then I look to the right, and there's a knockoff version of Listerine. Got the same ingredients, not quite Listerine. That's Daniel Jones, okay? He's not quite Listerine, okay? We're sitting here wanting the best product, which is
Hell of an
Listerine. We
analogy.
want the name brand product, right? Well, we can't afford it. So what do? We settle for the knockoff and hope that it's going to be just as good. Okay, that is my Daniel Jones premium take. I thought about that all week because that's who he reminds me of. When I sit there and I talk about Daniel Jones, I'm talking about a knockoff product. I'm getting sold a bag of goods. I'm getting the $3.29 bottle of Listerine that has the ingredients. It doesn't even say Listerine. It says Reen. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have the full letters, but it has the same ingredients on it as it normally would. And that's what I feel Daniel Jones is. He is the knockoff Listerine. And Mahomes and Allen are the Listerine. Those are the guys I want.
So what bottle of Listerine did you end up getting?
Well, I got the cool mint one, man.
Well, all right, guys, let's have a little bit of
go.
fun with some football stuff,
it.
man.
I
Real
love it.
quick, man. Let's move on. It wasn't a lot of Giants stuff to talk about this week, really. Oh, Kadarius Toney got a little minor scope in his knee. That's nothing major, nothing to even sweat, worry about.
Sorry to go
He'll
off
be
that rant.
he'll be
Don't
full
panic,
go,
Giants
ready to
fans.
go.
Don't panic.
Training camp. Don't get all crazy yet. Don't start doing that. Talking about Kadarius Toney's hurt. Kadarius Toney's hurt. That's just some routine. That's routine stuff there, man. So, but I love that analogy, Listerine analogy, man. That's just funny as hell. But let's make some way too early predictions right now, fellas, man. I'm curious who y'all got, man, and some of this stuff, man. Who y'all think could win the Super Bowl? You see, maybe coming out this year, MVP, winning MVP, league MVP, defensive player of the year, rookie of the year. What y'all got on some of these, man?
Got the Buffalo Bills
Want me
taking
to
the
start?
Super Bowl this year. I'll start, Jeff. I got the Buffalo Bills
Go ahead,
taking
Zion.
the Super Bowl this year. I got Barkley winning comeback player of the year. I got Thibodeau winning defensive rookie of the year. I got Drake London winning offensive rookie of the year.
Thank you very much, Jake.
Way too early season predictions, 7-10 for the Giants. And league MVP. Since I have the Buffalo Bills representing the Super Bowl, I'm gonna have Josh Allen win the MVP.
Josh Allen. You got some.
Go right ahead, Jeff.
You got some predictions, Jeff?
Well, for my team, I think is going to win the Super Bowl. I think the team that is going to win the Super Bowl this year, actually, I agree with Zion. I think it is going to be the Buffalo Bills. I think this is the year the Buffalo Bills are going to take that step and become a Super Bowl. The Bills will be the Super Bowl team. I actually think that Justin Herbert will be the MVP this year because I think that Chargers team is going to be just absolutely deadly scary, and I think Herbert's going to take a big step this year and put himself into the MVP conversation. Defensive Player of the Year. Until I see somebody do it better, I'm going to say Aaron Donald all the way. Aaron Donald is and will be always the Defensive Player of the Year. So he's giving me my early Defensive Player of the Year.
Keep that fast. That was my Defensive Rookie of the Year. Kayvon is not winning Defensive Player of the Year, just to point that out, guys. Continue, Jeff.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, I actually think it's going to be Thibodeau. I mean, I know a lot of people are probably going to say Hutchinson or maybe like Stingley or one of those guys. I think it will be Thibodeau because I think he's going to make the biggest impact. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm probably going to go with, I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson on the Jets. I really like everything that Garrett Wilson brings to the table, and I think him and Zach Wilson are going to have a good connection. So I think Garrett Wilson will be the Offensive Rookie MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, our Comeback Player of the Year, who's a player that's coming off a serious injury? I'm trying to think. I'll go with Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin came off a serious injury with Tampa Bay. Couldn't play in the playoffs. I'll say Chris Godwin. I still think he's a damn good receiver. So I'm actually going to pick him as the Comeback Player of the Year. Barkley's already been back, so I can't really pick him. And Coach of the Year? They do a Coach of the Year too? I forget.
Do it.
Or no?
They do Coach of the Year.
I didn't list everything, but
Coach
do it whoever you.
Of the Year. McDermott.
I like it.
McDermott with that Bills defense, especially getting Von Miller there, it's going to put that Bills defense over the top. So I'm going to say McDermott will be Coach of the Year.
Season predictions, early season prediction.
For
the Giants?
Any predictions you want to make, Adam? Well,
I like that.
NYG 22
I can see that.
says the Bills versus Broncos in the AFC Championship. Bills winning.
So-
NFC is going to be the Rams, Tampa Bay. With the Rams winning it, Bills over the Rams in the Super Bowl. I like it. I reserve the right
Bills
to change
over
these
the
picks.
Rams.
I absolutely do, brothers. These are the way too early predictions right now,
Yes.
bro.
Wow. Wait, listen. Way too early or not? Bills. You guys.
Yeah, way too early.
Listen, I don't want to curse the Bills because I like them, because I don't want to pick them and all of a sudden they lose the Super Bowl. And I'm like, you guys picked them to win. Look at you. You cursed us again.
It's all your fault.
But
Did he cut off?
I don't know, but I'll just take it away until he comes back. I don't know. I like in the Super Bowl, man. I like those teams out west, man. The AFC West, man. I think whoever comes out of that damn division, survives that division, I think has a real shot, because they will probably be the most tested team going into the playoffs just because of the division they play in. And I think that team is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. Because I do love everything they did this offseason, man. I do. And I think Justin Herbert is going to take that next step. And you stole my thunder a little bit, because I do believe Justin Herbert will be the league MVP this year, Jeff. I absolutely agree with you on that. I think he's going to have an amazing season. They gave that kid everything else he needs to take that next step. And the defense also has been much improved. I mean, they have bookend edge rushers, Khalil Mack and Nick Bosa. I mean, Joey Bosa. Like, what? No, you can't double team either one of those guys now. you got to pick your poison one way or another. They're coming at you, man. They got good secondary back there with Derwin James leading the way back there in the secondary. I mean, I like the Chargers this year. I actually do. I think they actually win the Super Bowl against who comes out the NFC.
And J.C. Jackson that they picked up.
Sorry, fellas. I had to do some fatherly duties. You know what that means.
Who comes out of the NFC, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do come out of the NFC again this year.
No.
But I think the Chargers
all
win
good,
the Super Bowl. I think we got MVP. I said Justin Herbert, Defensive Player of the Year.
I like Justin Herbert.
Haven't given much thought to it, but I think it could be. It's easy to say Aaron Donald. It really, really is. I like Nick Bosa. I mean, yeah, Nick Bosa coming back, having a real strong comeback year, man, out in San Fran, and really cementing himself as the defensive player of the year this season, man. I think he's been right on the cusp of that award already for the first couple of years of his career, and I think he's going to finally kick that door in and get it, man, this year. And as far as rookies of the year, man, on the defensive side, I really hope Thibodeau can win that thing, man. But just for the
I
sake
think he
of
will.
being different, I'm going to go ahead and say his peer over in Detroit, Mr. Aiden Hutchinson, has a big season in Detroit.
Ooh.
Notice none of us picked Trayvon Walker. None of us.
Oh, I was about to pick Trayvon Walker. So you said something.
And then that's what I also could see that too. NYG, a possible LA Super Bowl, man. I could definitely see that happening.
Damn.
But also offensive rookie of the year, I'm gonna pick a wild card here, man. I'm gonna think that Matt Corral takes that job from Sam Darnold sooner than later. Sooner than later, and I think that he has a phenomenal year and wins offensive rookie of the year, man. Not quite, maybe quite that early. Maybe more like a week 4 or so after Carolina realizes Sam Darnold is not the guy. You know what I mean? So I think Matt Corral takes over and ends up having a phenomenal rookie season. And is that about it for me? That's about what you got, Adam.
Look, Matt Corral winning rookie of the year. That is. People write that down right now, because if that happens, I'm telling you, Mac, you got to go play the lottery, man. You got to go play the Vegas slots or something like that, because, man, I actually had to sit down because I was floored when you said that. That's how crazy it was. But to be honest, I think Thibodeau will win. Well, I don't think he'll win. I hope he'll win. I was going to say Trayvon Walker to be fun, but, you know. I'll go with Thibodeau. The reason why I'll go with Thibodeau is because you don't have to. He's not going to have a lot of sacks, and that sounds funny, but he's not going to have a lot of sacks. I think he's going to probably have 8 or 9, right? Respectable year for a rookie, and that'll get him the defensive player of the year, because Chase Young only had like 7, but because Chase Young was who Chase Young was, you know, they gave it to him, right? So I don't think he has to have a crazy number of sacks. Like, put Azeez Ojulari's sack numbers on Kayvon Thibodeau, and I guarantee you he's fighting for defensive rookie of the year, unless there's a Micah Parsons, comes out of nowhere and destroys the. Well, my bold prediction could be Nakobe Dean. How funny would that be, right?
Wow.
People already hated me. They're burning this podcast up right now. Like, Adam, you asshole, Nakobe Dean. No, but but for who's going to win the Super Bowl, I don't want to pick the Bills, because I love the Bills. I love them. They're like my side team, because they have this. When I was growing up, they had the same colors as the Giants. I was like, if this Giant thing falls through, I'll go with you, Buffalo. You know what I mean? But the Giants have obviously not fallen through, but the Bills I've always had some admiration for. So, with that being said, I want to pick them, but I don't want to pick them because I don't want to jinx them. That's why I don't want to jinx them. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see them represent. And then as for the NFC side, I'm going to go with a team that many people are thinking about, but have choked the recent years. The Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are going to be in the Super Bowl this year. That's right. I said it. Aaron Rodgers gets over with no Devontae Adams. He gets over the hump. I don't know what he does. He burns some sage over in London when he goes to Big Ben and all that stuff over there. And I think they're going. As for MVP, oh my God, Mac took mine, man. I love Justin Herbert. I wanted to be MVP, but just to be fun, I'm going to go with Derek Carr. Ooh, that's right. Derek Carr, league MVP. You heard it here. If I do that, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to take Carr out to dinner and be like, listen, man, I called this. You know what I'm saying? You can at least treat me to a steak. You know what I'm saying? I have it all recorded. Episode 20 back in May. I called you the league MVP. So
that's about as bold as my Matt Corral prediction, bro.
Listen. I love your pick. I love the Matt Corral. But can you see Derek Carr? I mean, like nobody appreciates that guy. This year, I feel like they went to the playoffs last year. You know, for some reason, I could see LA and Las Vegas and the LA Chargers in the AFC Championship game fighting for the Super Bowl. It wouldn't be funny if Derek Carr punched their ticket there. Man, I'm just throwing all fantasies out there. Just throwing them all out there for you right now.
That's a great point, Adam. I think that was I don't think it's that far outlandish of a Derek Carr winning the MVP this year. When you add the chemistry that him and Devontae Adams had in college, and Carr has been so underappreciated as a quarterback for so long that he's just due for that year to remind all the people in the NFL, the fans, everybody, like he's a damn good quarterback. He's just needed that one guy, that one offensive playmaker to help put him over the top.
Well, if they didn't have that crazy drama last year, maybe it doesn't derail their season, right? You know, remember they had the CeeDee Lamb. I think it's CeeDee Lamb. No,
not CeeDee Lamb. What you call it? Ruggs.
Oh, the Ruggs.
Right.
Ruggs.
Sorry. They had the Ruggs drama, which is terrible and a tragedy. But that tore the team apart, and they had to come over that.
Yeah,
Gruden
as well.
Too.
And their other draft pick, Arnett, had an incident as well. They had like 3 or 4 incidents last year with that team.
But they got Max Crosby, right? They got who? Chandler Jones, I think it was.
Chandler
right?
Jones.
Someone crazy.
Yeah.
Right? No.
Yeah, they had Chandler Jones too.
Chandler Jones. It's Chandler Jones, right? It's crazy. And then on the other side, the Chargers got Khalil Mack. It's like, oh, the rich get richer. It's going to be a freaking sack party over there, man. The sack records are being broken in the AFC. In the AFC conference, people, I'm telling you that right now. You got Bosa on one side, you got Khalil Mack on one side, you got Max Crosby on one side, you got friggin' Chandler Jones on another side. This is going to be insane. You know what I'm doing? I'm calling up my cable network right now, and I'm like, yo, just give me all the AFC games and the Giant games, and I'll be happy. All the AFC West teams and the Giant teams, and I'll be happy. I don't need to see anybody else. I mean, Mac, I'm going to be watching the NFC for the NFC's roundup, obviously. But what I'm saying is, just give me the other AFC West teams because, man, yo, DirecTV, if you had that package, sign up. I don't even give a
bullet or what, man.
To the NFC roundup, sorry, MacDaGiantsFan and Adam Costas.
Did we dodge a bullet or what this year? The AFC West absolutely loaded up this offseason, and we don't got to see that division for 4 more years. So let's go. We dodged the bullet. We definitely dodged the bullet.
We dodged the bullet, but damn, I can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
It's going to be fun watching those teams play against each other.
Because every game will matter to them. Every game that those 4 teams playing will matter. They all have quarterbacks: Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and I'm forgetting the last team right there. I know it's coming to my Kansas City Mahomes. How did I forget that guy? Oh my God, man, my brain just stopped for a minute there. But no, what I'm saying is, look at those 4 quarterbacks. That is like heavyweight. That's like Ali Foreman, George. That's like Ali Frazier. Every week that they play, you're gonna have heavyweights. Oh. It's gonna be great.
That is a very impressive list of quarterbacks to be all in one damn division. Those guys could all. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of those 4 guys won the MVP, league MVP. It wouldn't be surprising at all to me.
It's a great quarterback list in the AFC. The AFC is loaded with great quarterbacks. You might as well just give the MVP to a quarterback in the AFC. They're so loaded. It's ridiculous the amount of quarterbacks that are great in that conference.
Absolutely agree.
Carr MVP. Someone likes it. NYG22. Yes, someone likes it. Someone likes the thought. I'm just going out there, man. I'm being crazy. I'm going out on a limb.
I love it.
Last in the AFC
I said the Chiefs. I said the Chiefs.
No.
I think the Chiefs are going to finish in last. I said the Chiefs because I think the other teams. I think the other teams improved that much that I think the Chiefs are going to take a step back. No, not because of Mahomes. Because I really believe those other 3 teams improved that much. They're going to take that step, and the Chiefs are going to fall back.
How many AFC West teams are going to be in the playoffs next year? That's the question we need to ask. I'm going to say all 4. All 4 teams.
We can see a whole division make the playoffs.
That's all 4 teams.
Wow.
It could be the first time we see a whole division make the playoffs. Honestly, that's how good that division is.
That division
is absolutely loaded. Absolutely loaded from top to bottom. And to answer this question, who's finishing last? Yeah, I don't. Right now, I'd honestly say the Raiders right now. I just think they always have a way of kind of getting in their own way a little bit. But I still think they're going to be a very good team. and I still think they might sneak into the playoffs with that, like maybe 7th seed in the AFC. With the 7 playoff teams out of each conference now, that opens up the door for an entire division to make the playoffs, depending on how things go out for them, how things go for them. And they're going to beat each other up in the divisional games, but those teams all still play their non-conference games and everything like that to build their record up. You know what I mean? When they're not beating up each other in the division. So I can see these 4 teams all being very good, all having winning records, and all making the postseason.
And I'd like to say too, now that we're on this division, like shout out to like the Georgia social media department, man. The best social media department in the league. I don't know if you guys seen the schedule release, but they totally smashed on all the teams they played. It was an animated cartoon, kind of like anime, and they had like Urban Meyer in the board with like
Yeah, it
the
was really
Jacksonville
nice.
logo. It was hilarious. They had like a bunch of the true shots at a bunch of teams that they played. So if you guys didn't go take a chance, go on YouTube. It's like a 3-minute video. Just look up the Georgia schedule release and you just watch that whole video. It is pretty sick.
Listen,
Shout out
that
to the
means
Georgia social
you
media.
need to buckle up. Buckle up, get your insurance, get everything, your medical cards ready, because buckle up. That division is going to be black and blue. The Chargers, to me, what Zion just said, just started it. They said, all right, we're going to be the top dogs in the division. We're making fun of every team in our schedule smash. Let's go. I love it. This is what I'm saying. Mac knows what I'm talking about. Jeff knows what I'm talking about.
When they played the Seahawks, they had then they had like tombstones.
No,
and then one of the tombstones was like Legion of Boom. And then like because they're gone, right? So
See?
it was hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. But now when they play that team, you know, that's a little bit more edge to the game that we already need. I like that. The Chargers, their coach, he's bold, and they're being bold. They're being brash. Yeah. So, hey, let's see what happens, man. I love it. I'm loving it.
This division is so good. It's so unpredictable because of how talented it is. You just don't know who is going to really come out on top. You don't know who's going to come in last. I mean, it's just it could be any one of them. Any of these teams could finish anywhere from first to last in this division, and it wouldn't be a shocker. I mean, that's how talented the division is, man. So I look forward to football. I look forward to watching this division play football this season, man.
Absolutely.
I look forward to it. Guys,
that's a bold take by MYG. He thinks the Chargers are going to finish last.
I mean, this was definitely fun to talk about these way too early predictions, but I want to introduce a new segment to the show, man, that I think we're going to do every week before we close the show out, man. The Horsemen, that is us right here, the 4 Horsemen. We're going to, we're going to just bring up a little sports memory, man. It could be any sport, anything related to a sports memory. You guys, man, got anything cool y'all want to talk about, like an old memory, something you remember in sports
I have so much memories, but since we're going to do this every week, I'm just going to give one. In 1999, I believe I would have been 6 years old. And I remember watching TV, watching the X Games, and Tony Hawk accomplishing the 900. Skating doesn't really get the props that it does as being a sport, so I'm going to bring it here in this light. Tony Hawk doing the 900 at the X Games, the 1999 X Games was absolutely phenomenal.
Baby.
I watched it live. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm going to use that as my slot for this week. I'm going to say Tony Hawk's 900.
What you got, Jeff?
Interesting.
I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say, remember if you watched hockey back in the day, in 2003, in a playoff game against the Montreal Canadiens, the legendary goalie of the New Jersey Devils, Martin Brodeur, actually made a goal all the way from his side and was able to sling it into the goal on the Canadian side, empty net goal, which not a lot of goalies have been able to do that in the history of the NHL. For Martin Brodeur, he not only has one goal, he's got 3 goals that he scored in his career, but that one especially being in a playoff environment. So that's going to be my sports memory of the night. It's going to be Martin Brodeur scoring a goal in the 2003 NHL playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens.
Great.
Wow.
I remember that also, Jeff. I'm not even a hockey guy, and I remember that. You got Adam?
Well, I'm conflicted with mine, but, because we're doing one, I'll do one that I thought was cool because I was there, but also was kind of a coming of age, so to speak. So I was at Eli Manning's last game of 2004. When he was a rookie against the Dallas Cowboys. I also have one later on that I'll share that I just popped in my head. But in 2004, I go to the game with a friend of mine, and he's wearing a Cowboy jersey. We're passing Giant fans. They're giving me a beer. One guy looks at me, gives me a beer. Says, I can give you a beer, but I can't give your friend a beer because he's wearing a Cowboy jersey. I'm like, well, I guess I got two then. So anyways, we go to our seats, and we're sitting there. And this is when we, again, the Giants are nothing right now. But we needed to see if our quarterback could do something. So all I remember is him coming up to the line. I'm on the other side of the field. And I just see him come up, and he changes the play at the line of scrimmage. He turns around, he hands it off to Tiki Barber, and we go absolutely bananas for that win. And it was for the Cowboys. For that Cowboys, it was like a big game for them. But for us, it was just Eli finally made his arrival to Giant Stadium. That game was a telling game and propelled his career as it went forward. So it was a great moment to be at. And I know I rambled, but that's what I remember.
I love it.
Well, okay, we got NYG22 saying his first Yankee game when he was 14, man, was absolutely fire. I bet, man. I know that stadium's going to get electric, man, up there in the Bronx, man. But as for Mac the Giants fan here, I'm going to take y'all back to 1993 because I'm an old head with mine. So we're going to go to 1993. We out in Vegas, baby. Caesar's Palace, fight number 2 between Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. And there was at one point they had cut up. They had nose outdoor. The fight was actually outdoors. It was an outdoor arena where they were fighting. That they had outdoor set up. There was a parachutist dude like they saw flying around, for a couple minutes during the fight. Then the next thing you know, here we come, round 7, baby. A couple minutes into round 7, next thing you know, this guy just comes and lands right smack in the middle of the ring. And it was just absolutely bananas because nobody knew what the hell was going on. It was just like, you saw the guy when he was just, going floating around Caesar's Palace or whatever, but you didn't expect him to actually come and land down in the ring while the fight was still going on. And it was just one of those epic memories, something I would never forget. The dude named James Miller, James Miller is just like, nobody's ever going to remember this guy for anything else other than that. Well, apparently he's since had a mysterious death or disappearance. Who knows whatever happened to him? But I just thought I'd bring something like that up because it's something I'm sure a lot of people may have forgotten about. Something that happened back in sports, man. Like, it was just one of the craziest things I've ever seen watching a live sporting event. And it was fight number 2 in an epic series of trio of matches between Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. And that was just one of the standout moments of the trilogy right there, was this guy on the parachute coming down in the middle of the ring while they were fighting. So
That's funny.
Just that's my memory, man, for this week. And we're gonna be bringing these to y'all each and every week, man, because there's so many great memories in sports to share. So this was just the ones we wanted to share with y'all this week, man.
Good and bad.
Good, bad, and indifferent. They're not always going to be good ones. Some of them are going to be bad ones, you know what I mean? I'm going to let you know that right now. Having a bad day on a Sunday, then I might just kick one of them bad memories just to keep going with my day, you know what I mean? Like, I might bring up that old Baltimore, New York Giants Super Bowl 30.
Oh, come on, save it for next week. Oh,
God. That's such a bad memory. There's a bad taste in my mouth. Still.
Why did you do that, man? Jeez.
I would have kicked it out of bounds, Matt.
That stings. That stings.
But we're gonna get ready to wrap this up.
You just hurt our soul by saying that.
You guys got any final comments, man, for the day, man, before we get out of here, man?
I just want to thank you guys all for watching. You guys have been amazing, supporting us and following us throughout our channels. Being that this show is on 3 different channels and soon to be 4 different channels, we really appreciate the support you guys been showing us. So thank you so much, fam, for holding down the chat, man. I go by Zion Zenith. That's Adam Costas. We got Jeffrey NYG and Mac. You guys know where to find us, man. And go give love to all of these guys' great channels. All of them take time out of the day to bring you guys great content. So go sub up to these guys. And thank you so much for hosting today, Matt.
Appreciate it, man. No problem, man. You guys, man, it's always a pleasure. I love working with you guys each and every week, bringing this Premium Takes podcast. I want to thank everybody in the chat, man. NYG22 holding the chat down. Nimar, man. Appreciate you guys. AK was in the chat earlier. Logan, seen Lou earlier, man. Tudo, everybody else. I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but, I love y'all all. Got the same love for everybody. Definitely appreciate it, man. What you got, Adam? Anything?
I just want to say thanks to everybody watching out there. Love my channel's the Hurry Up NYG22. It's in the description section. It's just a show I started where I give you some takes on football. You know, I'm going to start a segment called "Give Me a Break," where I'm going to talk about things that are weird. You know, it's almost like "Come On Man" on ESPN, but it's
I like it. Give me a break.
You know what I mean? So
I like that. I like that.
I just put his link in the right in the chat right there.
So
NYG.
that also will be also a feature on NFC East Roundup as well. You're going to hear me and Mac will give you our breaks on what like we saw on teams that might have been funny as well, because we'll do an NFC East Roundup, and I'm sure a lot of stuff will be funny throughout the season. So look out for that, and you know, look out for Premium Takes. We do this every Sunday for you guys, man. I mean, we want to bring you a different type of show, something that is engaging, that's fun, and that's not always the same. So I'm glad that Mac brought up the memories. There's going to be a ton of them, a lot of fun. Thanks, NY22. You're the best. And
real fast, before you go, Jeffrey, I know you don't do this for the clout, Adam, but you should really put a Kit Kat behind you and try to get that Kit Kat sponsor deal for Give Me a Break.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Well,
final...
the segment will be "Give Me a Break" on her.
Guys.
Go ahead,
Any
Jeff.
final comments, Jeff?
Did we lose Adam again? No, go ahead and finish what you were saying before, Adam.
I think it's "Give Me a Break" on my channel. It's going to be "Break Me Off a Piece of That" on NFC East Roundup.
I love it.
I mean, I just want to echo what these guys have mentioned before. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support that you're bringing for the four of us. Like, we couldn't be doing this without you guys. We appreciate all the times that you guys come by and stop by to watch our shows, to leave your comments in the comment section. You're the reason why we do this. You're the reason why we put this content out there for you guys. We appreciate all the support, all the love, everything that you give to us. And if you guys haven't already, please sub up to my channel, MYGJeffyT3285. I just talk about the Giants, the Nets, the Mets, wrestling. I'm even starting a little segment that I've been doing a couple of times called Undercover, where I go undercover on some of the latest scoops going on with each of those specific topics. So just thank you very much for all the support that you gave us. And before you guys leave, make sure you throw up the four. Throw up them fours for the four horsemen of the New York Giants community. Throw up them fours, everybody. Thank you very much.
Let's get it.
Let's go, baby. Once again, thank you all for tuning in, man.
This
has been Premium Takes, episode 20. See y'all next week on Zenith's channel. Let's go. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, MacDaGiantsFan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at MacDaGiantsFan. That's MacDa Giants Fan.